What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a triple song battle, the Fifth Dimension Battle of the Lead Vocalists, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter, and patron of the channel, AnCat Dub. Thank you, AnCat Dub. I appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out that Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. We could not do it without the patrons running a free trial. AnCat Dub knows a ton about music. They've already brought two different Fifth Dimension top 10s, which I'm going to link down below. Just click on that and check it out. But just a little bit of background for you real quickly if you don't know. Fifth Dimension's American vocal group. Their music encompasses sunshine pop, pop soul, and psychedelic soul. They were an important crossover act of the 1960s and 70s, although both praised and derided for their particular musical approach and mass appeal. During the original group's heyday, they were twice invited to perform at the White House, and accepting those invitations was controversial during that era of social upheaval. Formed as the Versatiles in late 1965, the group changed its name to the Fifth Dimension by 1966. Between 1967 and 1973, they charted with 20 top 40 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, two of which, the famous Up, Up, and Away, and the medley Aquarius with the Sunshine In, won Grammy Awards for Record of the Year. 3 of the records reached the top 10 of Billboard's Rhythm and Blues Souls chart. 5 of their 19 top 20 hits on the Easy Listening chart reached the #1 position. The 5 original members, which we're going to get to here in a minute, were Lamont McLemore, Marilyn McCoo, Florence LaRue, Ronald Townsend, and Billy Davis Jr. The earliest recordings were on the Soul City record label, which was started by recording artist Johnny Rivers. The group later recorded for Bell/Arista Records, ABC Records, and Motown Records. So there's the background. Let's get to the first track. And you see it below, Requiem, 820 Latham, from the Magic Garden album in 1967. AnCat Dub says, first up is a Billy Davis Jr. solo turn from the Fifth Dimension's second album, The Magic Garden. A Jimmy Webb song cycle released in 1967, Requiem 820 Latham is one of the more unique Jimmy Webb compositions. I would describe it as a psychedelic ballad or psychedelic lament. The lyrics are among his most memorable and definitely have a surreal quality to them. Billy Davis was originally assumed to be the lead vocalist for the Fifth Dimension, and it wasn't until Marilyn McCoo began garnering more of the actual hits that people began forgetting that this was the case. Davis grew up singing R&B and gospel-style music, and even Fifth Dimension founder Lamont McLemore assumed that Davis's solo career would eventually take off, but in the meantime, the Fifth Dimension would be their hobby. But as our alto vocalist Florence LaRue sassily put it, quote, "If it's just a hobby, then why are you buying us outfits?" End quote. Right from the beginning, though, Billy Davis was willing to take on this kind of oddball song and arrangement style, having very little to do with the mainstream R&B he was used to. Davis makes the song his own without abandoning its quirky Jimmy Webb qualities. It's a great performance of a memorable song. Also, AnCat Dub says, I'll just mention that it's hard to find many songs quite like this one, even among the 1960s repertoire. But one that comes to mind would be Lee Hazelwood's duet with Nancy Sinatra on Some Velvet Morning, one of Hazelwood's best psychedelic cowboy songs. All right, I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, AnCat Dub.
Came out before I took you up there again. Yeah, why could I not dive in? Warm behind the curtains of your head. Instead I was found dead and well, carrying on my life with much gusto and death breath. Buried without casket, and no one writes my epitaph. 'Cause they know that I'm still breathing, and they think that means I'm still alive. I'm still alive. And I knew the mountainside would be 10 million years of dust and rust before I took you up there again. And why could I not dive in? Warm behind the curtains of your head. Why could I not dive in? Since it doesn't really matter where.
Okay, Requiem 820, Latham from Billy Davis Jr. Definitely a different kind of song. The psychological lament is probably a good way to put it, as Ancat Dub said in the description. No chorus, one bridge, 3 verses, no harmonies or catchiness to us, just a rawness to the vocal. Sort of a love song, sort of, but a very interesting song, especially for 1967. So definitely enjoy that. So remember, we're not grading the song, right? Or, choosing a winner. We're choosing the vocal performance. That's a very good vocal performance. All right, next up, we're going to skip 3 years ahead. Last song was from 1967. We go to This Is Your Life from the Portrait album in 1970. This is Ancat Dub says this is a Jimmy Webb composition dating from 1968, recorded for the Portrait album, and also released as a single B-side with the excellent but ill-fated A-side, On the Beach in the Summertime. The best a single could do at the time was number 12 on the Adult Contemporary chart in 1970. It's a very different Jimmy Webb ballad from the earlier Requiem. It's a much more straightforward pop tune, but the lyrics are quite expertly crafted. Webb likely intended this song for a crooner rather than a rock band. The Fifth Dimension recorded the song in 1970 with Florence LaRue assuming the lead vocal style, something she was able to do once or twice each album during the reign of the original Fifth Dimension. After Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis left the group at the end of 1975, LaRue became the de facto leader and female vocal lead for the group moving forward, hiring a long list of temporary replacements for the Davis and McCoo roles. I like to refer to Florence LaRue as the great blender because the combination of her voice and harmony with anyone else, male or female, which is very difficult to do, always yields a warmer, rounder, harmonious tone that is pure ear candy and certainly a signature sound of the late 1960s and early 1970s. LaRue was also something of a mimic when taking the lead. She would sometimes sing a particular phrase very much in the Marilyn McCoo style, and then another sounded remarkably like Dionne Warwick, or one of the pop crooners of the day. I regard This Is Your Life as her finest lead vocal of the period. LaRue's voice sounds relaxed and confident, and the vocal performance is well thought out from the beginning to the end. This recording happens to contain a fairly unique moment for a studio recording. When LaRue hits the big high note near the end of the song, the listener will hear, particularly if wearing headphones, a layer of distortion, probably feedback in the studio monitor speakers, although the sound engineer may have intentionally been overdriving the signal somehow. Normally, the producer would have re-recorded the vocal section to get a clean take, but producer Bones Howe, it's a fantastic producer, did a lot of Tom Waits stuff, did the brilliant thing and left the distortion in, adding to the emotional power of the moment. When LaRue hits the high note one last time at the very end of the song, I don't really hear the same effect on the fade out. So I think it was a one-off, so listen for that one.
This is your life, you're living, and it's the only one you've got. It's your life you're giving. Don't you think it's time you asked yourself for what? This is your life, not a game that you play. It's your life, and you're throwing it away. You're running around, the worst one in our end of town, and everyone knows that I still love you so. Love you so. That precious wine you're tasting will be better when you're done. It's your life you're wasting. Don't you think it's sad you had to start so young? This is your life, not a merry-go-round. It's your life, boy, and you can't live it down. You're running around, the worst one in our end of town. Yes, everyone knows that I still love you so. Love you so. This is your life. Just something to do. This is your life, and it's my life too. This is your life. I know it's your life. I'm saying it's my life. It's your life. They say run around. I know it's your life, but it's
All right, this is your life. Florence LaRue on lead vocals are doing a fantastic job. I really listened for that distortion. That layer of distortion, I didn't quite hear it in there. I was trying to hear it, but I need to go back and listen to it again, but I won't do it here on film for you. Song's really well written. I mean, she's singing to a guy who she's in love with, but he's running around town and she's trying to tell him, you know, you're going to regret all this and everybody in town knows I love you. So you kind of humiliate me on top of the fact that, you know, you're running around, you're just, you know, having these hollow relationships. So very well written. I could see where it was probably written for a crooner, but the build up and the arrangement's fantastic. When they come in the backing vocals are fantastic. But Florence carries this song very, very well. You feel the emotionalism that she has. So great choice. And our final song in this triple battle, If I Could Reach You, from Individually and Collectively in 1970. So we went 1967, 1970. Now we're skipping to 1972. NCAT Dub says, sung by Marilyn McCoo. It's a song written by Randall Clayton McNeil. It was the group's last top 10 hit, peaking at number 10 in 1972 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was also the group's final number 1 hit on the Easy Listening chart. Easy Listening chart became the adult contemporary chart, just to FYI. Marilyn McCoo has what I call a trumpet voice. As soon as she enters into the mix, her voice cuts through everything else going on. Naturally loud and instantly recognizable. Definitely qualities expected from a lead singer or soloist, which is what McCoo had grown up dreaming of and training for. But it was in the setting of a vocal harmony group that she was fated to get her big break. Although McCoo had no problem standing out amongst a group of vocalists, she also had a gift for handling the emotional complexities and quiet, subtle details of certain songs that so effectively tugs the heartstrings that the listener is left convinced of the sincerity of her performance. Let's face it, lots of crooners have sung the same catalog of songs over and over again, and the fans will always enjoy the renditions, but it's a relatively handful of recordings that have any real depth of emotion and character. Those are the ones we remember as iconic because the singer is able to believably live in the world of the song and make the listener forget everything else for a few minutes of their life. Marilyn McCoo was able to record a number of such performances in the first decade of her career, and for that, she needs to be remembered. It's a really good point. Do you really believe the artist, right? The believability of it. Said, note that the featured piano on this track is played either by the Wrecking Crew's Jimmy Rolls or Larry Netchell, but the album credits have never been very clear about the keyboard and guitar assignments for specific tracks. All right, let's finish this thing off.
Oh no, don't go. It's hours till dawn, and there's no one who'd rather be with you. I know, you know, other girls like me. I let you take my love, knowing you don't love me. But if I could reach you some way, if I knew the magic it would take to love you good enough on the outside and make you feel it on the inside, maybe I could make you stay. If I could reach you. The dark is getting light, and you're dressed to go, and never said a word about tomorrow. But if I could reach you some way, if I knew the magic it would take to love you good enough on the outside and make you feel
All right, if I could reach you, and this guy, she's in love with this guy. She knows he doesn't love her. He's using her, and she wishes she could make him like see that he's making a big mistake. And then it's heartbreaking, right? Because she's like, see you next time. Like, she knows what he's doing, but she can't get away from him because she feels too strongly for him. And you really do feel it. I was shaking my head at the end because now I got to pick a winner. And remember, it's not the best song. I mean, obviously the song plays into it. It's the battle of the lead vocalists. Billy Davis Jr., Florence LaRue, Marilyn McCoo. I mean, obviously this is incredibly difficult. And Cat Dub picked, the best stuff. And I mean, it's supposed to be really difficult. I don't know. I mean, Marilyn McCoo probably has the best voice. Maybe Billy Davis Jr. because it was such a different song. I'm going to give him I have no confidence in this. I'm going to give him the nod. But you could pick anybody. I mean, Florence was great. I don't know. I'll go Billy Davis Jr., but I'm definitely going to need your help down below. Who do you think had the most vocal performance in this battle? That is the real question. Put it in the comments down below. I will put the 2 top 10s I did of the Fifth Dimension for ANCAT Dub down below. So go check those out too. Thanks again to ANCAT Dub for bringing this. And until next time, guys, I will see you.